Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about The Nun. And this is a prequel to the Conjuring universe, a prequel spinoff. Because The Nun was from The Conjuring 2 and this is basically how the Nun storyline began. Or a storyline from The Nun. I saw this movie at a Thursday night showing and kinda sucked. So, now that you know what this movie is, it's not a very good movie. I was very disappointed with this film, but we'll go into the positives first, and I'll start off with the art department, in terms of the setting, the costume design, and the special effects, things like that, and the lighting in this movie. It's all pretty great. The movie looks great. From a visual standpoint, it's a pretty great movie. There's some music in this movie that I liked. They used the Conjuring theme from in this movie. You know, like when something creepy is happening, or the title for the film for The Conjuring and Conjuring 2. That goes up at places like creepy music, and that's something that this movie got right, and it used it pretty well. Aside from that, there's nothing really good in this movie. I guess our two main leads in this movie, well, I guess there's three main leads, but there are two characters that we follow, a priest and a nun, who's not yet a nun, but going to be a nun officially. Their acting was not terrible. Also, another positive I have, there's a scene in this movie involving a coffin that was memorable. It wasn't great, but it's memorable. And there's some creepy imagery in this movie. Aside from that, this movie sucked. That's all I have to say in terms of positives. And where this movie is not where its biggest problem for me was the script, how it uses the scares, and I don't know where to begin. Let's just start with the scares. This movie overuses jump scares. They're incredibly annoying. I don't understand what they were thinking. The most obvious, a jump scare is going to happen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump scare. And it just wasn't scary. It was not scary. It doesn't know how to build tension. And this movie also lacked subtlety. It just doesn't know how to treat its audience. It was just annoying. That's all I have to say. It was annoying. The dialogue also is terrible. The fact that it doesn't know how to treat its audience, it try to dumps itself down as much as possible. And it is just a pain to sit through. And there's also humor in this movie. There's a character who's basically comedic relief. And this movie has some of the cringiest humor I've heard all year. Maybe even in a long time. I could not believe how terrible it was. And that character doesn't need to be in the movie. I don't get why he's there for the most part. The pacing of the movie. This movie is like 2 hours long, and it feels it. I guess another problem I have with this movie is the characters. They're poorly developed. You get a little bit of setup in the beginning for our main protagonist, and she is basically in a classroom talking to other students about dinosaurs. That scene has basically almost nothing to do with anything in the film. Speaking of pointless scenes in this movie, or pointless things. Right at the beginning of the film, before anything gets started, this movie tells you, like, introduces you to who the nun is, for those of you who haven't seen The Conjuring 2 yet. But you wouldn't know the nun unless you've seen The Conjuring 2, and if you've seen The Conjuring 2, you know who the nun is, so they basically introduce you to the nun from The Conjuring 2. Like, show you clips from The Conjuring 2. That's what I meant. The reason that doesn't work is, A, we know who the nun is, and B, you could have just introduced us to the nun, which they do, but I don't get the point of what that little bit was. It's not even a scene, it's just a bit. Now, is this movie the worst movie in the Conjuring universe? No, it's better than Annabelle. Not Annabelle Creation, Annabelle. 2014's Annabelle. But it's just not a good movie at all. It is a semi-competent film, I guess, with some creepy imagery, and that's about it. And I guess I would give 2014's Annabelle a little bit of a compliment, because it has one scene, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, that takes place in the basement. And that scene is actually solid, whereas opposed to The Nun, which doesn't really have anything that tops that scene. Not to give Annabelle credit, because that movie is just an absolute disaster. And this movie, I wouldn't say it's an absolute disaster, but it's just pretty bad. That's all I have to say about it. It's pretty bad. All in all, that's about all I have to say for The Nun in terms of a spoiler-free review, because there's more to talk about in spoilers and more in depth. But I can't get into those things because obviously that will be spoiler-filled, but I just can't get into them now. I didn't completely hate this movie. There are obviously good things about it. And I've been switching back and forth which grade I should give it. All in all, don't see this movie. I guess if you're a big fan of the Conjuring universe like I am, I mean, I only like 3 of the movies. This is the second bad movie for me. I guess you should probably go see it if you're just someone who wants to be entertained by a horror movie. Don't see this movie. This movie is really boring. It's horribly paced and just doesn't really know what it wants to be, really. And all in all, I'm going to give The Nun a D+. I was excited to see this film, but it just didn't live up to what I wanted it to be. And it didn't do anything really right, to be honest. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Nun down below. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on it. My social media links will be down in the description down below. Follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up. And that'll be probably The Meg or something else that I haven't reviewed yet. But until then, thank you for watching and have a great day.